Hello students, welcome to IFAS and very good evening to all of you. So today we are meeting here for another session of learning British literature. So this series is going on for free. So remember that this is a free series dedicated only for UGC-NET English aspirants, in which I am teaching you all the topics related to English literature which are beneficial, which are important for your UGC-NET exam. So that is why don't miss a single session. Please attend. If you haven't watched my previous classes, go and watch it right away, because in that I have taught you so many topics related to British literature. How the British literature actually started is what we discussed in our previous classes. We also looked at how it is evolving day by day. And in this week, we are going to solve the MCQs, or most probable questions, which are related to the topic that we studied for the last week. So I hope you have understood, or you have at least studied and revised whatever we studied in our previous week. And in this week, you are well prepared to give all the answers related to the questions that we will be talking on our lecture series, this particular lecture. Okay, so yeah, before I actually talk about the session, as I told you yesterday also, that we have already started with our batch, which is a live batch. So if you haven't enrolled in it, we have extended the time duration. It is for 5 more extra days, so in which you can also, so if you have missed taking the admission, still you have the opportunity to take the admission and take it right away, so that you won't miss this opportunity. Okay, so here you can see some of the details that the batches have started from 28th of March. The fees of this batch is only 4,999, plus the duration of this course will be of 6 months complete, in which we will be teaching you each and every topic related to UGC-NET English. And if you have seen the syllabus, if you have actually visited the page of UGC-NET, you might have gone through the syllabus. You have understood that the syllabus is so vaguely given, and the actual syllabus or the questions which are asked in your exam are very much different from the syllabus that is given to you. So it is very vast. If you want to learn British literature, it is also vast, very vast. And similarly, you have to also read literary criticism, literary theory, American literature, post-colonial literature, culture studies, then Marxism, as well as research methodologies and all the related subject, plus literary terms and all. So then linguistics as well. So these becomes, so studying for these becomes really very difficult if you haven't known, if you don't know the actual syllabus. So in our course, we have planned each and every lecture properly. There I have already given you what will be the syllabus, how I'm going to cover each and every topic. So you can visit our website, which is www.ifasonline.com, where we have where I have actually given you the proper plan, how the lectures will be conducted and how will be the manner. So you can go there, check by yourself. There are also 7 days free demo courses in which you can check whether the time is suitable for you, whether the lectures are suitable for you, whether you are understanding the topic or not, what are we going to actually do in the session and everything. Then you can decide whether you want to enroll in the course or not, whether you want to pay for the course or not. So this is another benefit that you are getting here. So I would suggest don't miss the opportunity, and make sure that you properly study for it and you are well prepared for your exams. Okay, so this is also a free course running. So but what happens in the free course is that you actually don't get, so I actually don't get that much of time. Okay, so where I can explain, I can tell you each and every topic. So then it might become a problem, it becomes a barrier for my teaching, which will not happen in our batch. okay, which will be live batch in which you can also ask the doubts. So here you won't be able to ask doubts to me because the time constraint. So these are the problems that we face in YouTube, but if you are in our online batch, that won't be a problem at all. So enroll today itself and don't miss the opportunity, okay? So yeah, coming back to the topic, now here we are going to discuss some of the questions related to Age of Chaucer. So the questions here we are discussing are based on Age of Chaucer. So we have already studied about Age of Chaucer, what is actually there, what we have to study for it, and everything related to Age of Chaucer we have already studied. So now the time has come to give the answers and look for the questions which are asked in your exams, okay? So pay attention here. So which author wrote a short story about Chaucerian scholar? Okay, so here the question is asked on the Chaucerian scholar, but not on the Chaucerian scholar. Here we have to find out that there is one author who has written short stories on the Chaucerian scholar. Who is the Chaucerian scholar? Obviously Geoffrey Chaucer. So who has written the short stories based on him? The person is Rudyard Kipling, okay? So Rudyard Kipling is a very famous author. There are so many famous works written by Rudyard Kipling. So if you haven't read about him as of now, start reading it because he is a very famous author, and it is very important to know about him as well. Now pay attention to the question number 2. What is our question number 2? What distinction does Chaucer hold at Westminster's Abbey? So first of all, you should know about Westminster's Abbey, okay? So in today's age, it is called as Poets' Corner, okay? This is another word for Westminster's Abbey, that is Poets' Corner, okay? So while we were learning for Geoffrey Chaucer, you might have, so I came across with the term that Geoffrey Chaucer was the first person to be buried in the Poets' Corner, right? So now you should know about it, that what distinction does Chaucer hold at Westminster's Abbey? What is the distinction he holds? So he is the first poet to have been buried there in the Poets' Corner. So Westminster's Abbey is a church where there is a corner which is called as Poets' Corner, where all the famous poets are being buried there, okay, to give them a homage maybe, okay. So yeah, let's also look for the other options which we have. So every year his grave is the final stop on a reenactment of the Canterbury Tales. Is tombstone is the only one with an eternal flame, or he was the first commoner to be given a priest's funeral? No. What is the correct answer? That he is the first poet to have been buried there in Poets' Corner, okay. So let's also look for some of the extra information related to Westminster's Abbey, because now the question will not be the same, but it will be asked on the related topics. So you should know what is Westminster's Abbey first of all. So let's look at it. So Westminster Abbey, formerly titled the Collegiate Church of St. Peter at Westminster, it's a place. It's a large, mainly Gothic abbey church in the city of Westminster, London, England, just to the west of the Palace of Westminster. Okay. So now Westminster Abbey was rebuilt by Henry III in 1245 as a shrine to venerate King Edward the Confessor and selected as the site of his own burial. Okay, so it also became the coronation site of Norman kings. Okay, so this is another significance of the Westminster Abbey, that it is also the coronation site of Norman kings. Since 1066, when there was, what was there in 1066? Norman conquest. Where actual Norman people used to be there. Yes, all except two monarchs have been crowned in the abbey. Okay, so remember this as well. So this is just a basic historical background about Westminster's Abbey. Okay, so let me just acknowledge few of the comments here. So yes, hello, good evening Rituja, good evening Shweta, very good evening Rohan. So students, try to be on time so that you won't miss the starting part of the session. Okay. So yeah, coming back to the topic. So this is a thorough background of the Westminster's Abbey. Now, the next question is, which of the following is not a period that Chaucer's work can be grouped? Okay, so when we were studying for Chaucer, what we studied, that Chaucer wrote in the Italian period. Yes, then Chaucer also had a French period, was there in French period, and also he was there in English period. Yes, so we can see that he worked in all the three periods, but we cannot see any of his work in the Spanish period. So what will be the answer? Spanish period was the one which Chaucerian work or Chaucer's work cannot be seen. Okay. Now pay attention to the next question. Besides the Canterbury Tales, how many other major works is Chaucer credited with writing? What are, so let's first understand with Canterbury Tales, there are some more important works written by Chaucer. Those are the Book of the Duchess, then the House of Flame, the Legend of Good Women, Troilus and Cressade, and Parliament of Fowls. So these are some of the important writings of Chaucer, which you have to remember whenever you are studying. Plus there is Canterbury Tales as well as, so 1 and 2 option are already eliminated. Okay, now the option comes whether 8 or 9. So the actual answer is option number 9. So 6 we have already known. 3 more you have to find it out on your own. Okay, let's see who can find it out, and when you will find out, just comment below this video so that I will get to know that yes, you have done your homework. Okay, so this is the answer for this particular question. Now there might also be question asked on any of the famous works of Geoffrey Chaucer as well. Okay, so the works that I have mentioned here, you have to remember them, and you have to also pay attention and learn about them in detail. Okay, now pay attention here. So under which monarch did Chaucer serve? Serve means he was a working person in that age. So which is that age? So here you will see that Elizabeth I, then Richard II, Henry VIII. So here if you will see Elizabeth I, Richard II as well as Edward III, in all the three, with all the three kings or monarchs he has worked, but he has not worked with Henry VIII. But what they have asked, so pay attention to the question thoroughly. They have asked Chaucer serve. Okay, so the answer will be option B. It is the Edward III. Okay, so what was his work? What was his profession at that time? You have to find it out. Now pay attention to the next question. Which of the following has been named after Chaucer? What is named after the Chaucer? A Catholic mission, a programming language, a bird discovered in the rainforest, or a crater on the moon? So what was, so for that let's look here. I hope the screen is properly visible to you. So Chaucer is a lunar impact, okay, that is located in the west of the Okay, I'm extremely sorry for the interruption, students. I hope I'm properly visible and audible to everyone. Okay, so yes, let's continue. So as I was saying about the crater. So this is a crater on the moon, which is a very big achievement for Geoffrey Chaucer as well. So this is another answer for the question number 6. Now pay attention to the question number 7. What part-time job did Chaucer once hold? There was one part-time job which we have to find it out. So which is that part-time job? So it is sheep shearer, it is janitor at the cathedral, candle maker, or collecting scrap metal. What is the answer? It is the collecting scrap metal. Okay, so the work that Geoffrey Chaucer used to do at a time was collecting scrap metal. Okay, so this is another important answer. Okay, let's move ahead and look at the next question. So, what type of rhyme is Chaucer known to have invented? Now, you have to find it out which rhyme has Geoffrey Chaucer invented. Slant, end, eternal, or rhyme royal. So, basically, Chaucer invented rhyme royal. Now, let's find it out what a rhyme royal is. So basically a rhyme royal is a rhyming stanza form that was introduced to English poetry by Geoffrey Chaucer. Clear? Then the form enjoyed significant success in the 15th century and into the 16th century. So here you also have to remember this age, 15th century and also into 16th century. Okay, and it has had a more subdued but continuing influence on English words is in more recent centuries. Okay, so people started liking this kind of rhyme scheme, this kind of way of literary term. So that is why people actually started using it nowadays as well. You will also find rhyme royal in most of the poems, most of the recent poets' poems as well. Okay. Sudha, this class is not for paper 1. Basically, this class is for paper 2, that is UGC-NET English. Okay. Yeah. Now let's continue. So between which sets of dates did Chaucer live? So now here we have to find out the Chaucer's life. Okay. So from which century till which? So from which date or which year till which year Chaucer's age span was? So it was basically 1340 to 1400. Okay. So here you can see he was born in 1340 in London, that is United Kingdom in UK. He died on 25th October 1400, London, United Kingdom. His spouse name is Philippa Roth. I have already told you when he was married to her. He was married in 1366 and his marriage lasted till 1387. And place of burial, Westminster, London, United Kingdom, which is also called as Poets Corner. Okay, remember this. So this is a background of Geoffrey Chaucer. Now pay attention to the next question. What is our next question? So Chaucer lived during the reigns of, this we have already discussed. So he lived in the reign of Edward the Third, Richard the Second, and Henry the Fourth. Okay. So when he was writing or when he was alive, these three kings were ruling at the time. Now pay attention to the next question. Which of the following was the closest contemporary of Chaucer? Now, what do you mean by closest contemporary? Contemporary means a follower or the person who used to believe in Chaucer and who used to follow Chaucer and his works. So, for that, if you will see Wycliffe and John Barber, you will not find the name of John Barber, but rest of the names you will find here. Pay attention. So Chaucer was widely known amongst the literati of the day, and his circle included influential figures such as Sir Levi Clifford, Sir Richard Story, and Sir John Montague. Okay, then also he was also friend and John Howard. Okay, so here we will find William Langland as well as John Howard. Okay, then we need to have particularly close to Moral Howard and he dubbed his toilet and cricket, giving him power to adjourn. Then he left for Italy in 1376. Then in the short version of his conceptual analysis, over age of have so many comments. Thank you so much, Harshita. Okay, Rinashri, I will check with the voice. I hope now it is clear to you. Okay, now let's pay attention to the next question. So, who called Chaucer the father of English poetry? Now, here with Geoffrey Chaucer, you also have to remember lot of other. So, with who you will also understand few of the critics and few of the people who are actually very much influenced with Geoffrey Chaucer. Okay, so there were people who were talking about Geoffrey Chaucer. They had their own views on Geoffrey Chaucer. So now here we are going to see such questions. Who said what? Okay, so who called Chaucer the father of English poetry? It was Dryden. Okay, so whenever you are talking about father of English poetry, always remember the key figure as Dryden. Who said this? Dryden said this. John Dryden said. Now again, there was one more comment which was very famous for Geoffrey Chaucer, that is, somebody described Chaucer as the well of English undefiled. Now what is the meaning of undefiled? The person who is very pure. Okay, who is uncorrupt. So, who said this? It is the Spencer. Okay, Spencer said called Chaucer as the well of English undefiled. The next question is, with Chaucer is born our real poetry. Who holds this view? Now, what is the meaning of it? Means so he was the one who also wrote the prologue to Canterbury Tales. Okay, so remember this as well. So with Chaucer is born our real poetry. So Chaucer, so when Chaucer was born, the real poetry was also born, is what he meant by this sentence. So who was the person? It was Matthew Arnold. There are so many other comments by Matthew Arnold which are also very noteworthy, that we are going to look ahead as well. So Chaucer found his native tongue a dialect and left it a language. Okay, so first of all he found out his native tongue and then he made it a language. Somebody said this. Who was the person? It was Lewis. Okay, who said this particular term for Geoffrey Chaucer. Let's pay attention to the next question. So Chaucer is the earliest of the great moderns. Can you take out the meaning of the sentence? So Chaucer was not belong to the modern age, but still he was considered as the modern one because his thoughts, his writing was so modern. Okay, that is why Chaucer is the earliest of the great moderns. Okay, who holds this view? It was again Matthew Arnold. Okay, so you can see here that Matthew Arnold was very much influenced with the works of Geoffrey Chaucer. Let's look at the next question now. What is the next question? If Chaucer is the father of English poetry, he is the grandfather of English novel. If you consider Chaucer, then you will find that Dryden said that Geoffrey Chaucer is the father of English poetry. Then there is someone that Chaucer is the father of English. You also have to know that the grandfather of English novels. Grandfather of English novels means he wants to give that special position to Geoffrey Chaucer. Okay, so who was the person who said this? It is the G.K. Chesterton. Okay, this is the name of the person. Your key figure you should remember. Pay attention to the next question now. Who says about Chaucer's characters about me? Here is God's plenty. Who says this? Again, Dryden says this. So now, with Chaucer, you also have to remember about William Langland, John Gower, Dryden, then Matthew Arnold, then also G.K. Plus who else is remaining? Then Spencer. Okay. And also Okay, I will try. I hope now the voice is clear. Clear now? If not, do let me know. Till the time we will look at the next question. Okay. So, yeah, here is our next question. So, in which month did Chaucer's pilgrims go on their pilgrimage? So, this is the question. First of all, on which poem or which story or which thing of which prose that you have to find it out. What is it? Chaucer's pilgrimage. It is from the Canterbury Tales. Yes? Canterbury Tales is a very famous short story written by Geoffrey Chaucer. It is a set of stories. So, in that there are pilgrimage. There are pilgrims, okay, who are going on a voyage. So, you have to find out in which month they were going. So, if you remember, there is the one sentence written that the April, he says that the Aprils are sweet. Yes. So, means they were traveling in the month of April. Okay. Remember this. Attention to the next question. How many pilgrims in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales are going on the pilgrimage? How many are going? The historical guide to the pilgrimage in the Canterbury Tales, April. Okay, very good, Harshita. So yes, so how many pilgrimage? Obviously 29. So basically there were 29 pilgrims as well as one narrator. Okay, so remember this. So there were total 30 people, but from those 29 were the pilgrims and one will be always the narrator. Okay. Yes. Now let's move ahead and look at the next question. So, how many pilgrims in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales represent the knighthood class? Knighthood class को कितने represent कर रहे थे? How many were there in the prologue? So, there were 3. Okay. So, there were 3. Yes, absolutely correct. So, see here, the narrator opens the general prologue with a description of the return of spring. Okay, and he describes the April rains, the burgeoning flowers and leaves, and the chirping birds. So, around this time of year, the narrator says people begin to feel the desire to go on a pilgrimage. Okay, so this is what he is trying to say. Then, so here you will also understand that there is a prologue written, general prologue, plus they decided to go on in the April rains. Okay. Pay attention to the next question now. What is our next question? One of the tales in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is in prose. Which of the following is that one? The pardoner's tale, the parson's tale, the monk's tale, or the knight's tale? Which one is that? Try kijiye, then I'll give you the answer. Okay, so I can see here Harshita. Okay, so Rinashri has given us the answer as B, that is the parson's tale. Absolutely correct, Rinashri. See here, so it is the parson's tale or prologue which says the sun has almost set. So in that he says the sun has almost set and all the pilgrims but the parson have told their tale. The host asks the parson to tell a fable. That means a tale or story, but the parson replies that fables are full of sin. Pay attention to what they say. Fables or the stories are full of sin. They are full of paths. Instead, he will tell a moral tale. And because he lacks the skill. So that is why he says, so why he couldn't tell the prose form? Because he couldn't write in a poetry form. That was the simple reason. So instead of a story, the parson gives a sermon on the topic of repentance. Also pay attention to the topic, okay, because in exam they might also ask you that what is the topic of parson's tale. So you should know about it, that it was repentance, being sorry for your sins, that was the moral of his story. The parson, unlike the other religious figures in the Canterbury Tales, appears to be a genuinely good person. So he describes as smart and also as a good leader of people. Though he is poor in worldly goods, he is rich in spiritual gifts. Okay, so this is again the background of parson, the character in the Canterbury Tales. So they might ask you in your exam related to this. So which you should remember, that what was the topic of his story, why he chose story instead, why he chose the prose form instead of the poetry form, plus how was his character overall. Okay. So, and yes, also remember this, that what he says, that fables are full of sins. They might also ask you in exam that who said that the fables are full of sins. Okay, so you should know that it was the parson. Okay. Now pay attention to the next question. This is the second last question of the day. So one of the portraits in the prologue is that what's the wife of Bath. What is this Bath? What is this Bath? So Bath is basically the name of the town in which she lived, okay, so, or she belonged to. So it was the wife of Bath, means wife, she is the wife of the town Bath, okay. And now the last question. To which shrine are the pilgrims going? This I have already mentioned when I was teaching about the Canterbury Tales. So when I gave you the brief description about Canterbury Tales, when I actually talked about Canterbury Tales, I told you that to which shrine they were going. So here the name is actually given to you, but then yes, so this will not be the answer, this will not be the answer, because they were obviously going to Canterbury. That we know from London to Canterbury. So but here we also have here Canterbury as well as here. So now you should know that which shrine, whose shrine they were visiting. Okay, so they were paying visits to the shrine of Saint Thomas A. Becket, Sir Thomas Becket's, okay, at Canterbury. So the answer will be option number C. Okay, very well done, Chinmay. Very good, Rinashri. I'm very impressed with your answers. So I hope you have understood how you have to give the actual answers for the questions. Is it clear to everyone? Does anybody has any doubt related to this? If you have any doubt, then do let me know so that I can clear it right away. Also, start studying for the topics which we have already studied. Start revising it. If you haven't watched my lectures as of now, go and watch those so that you will have an idea that why we are studying all of these and how much important it is from for your exam perspective. So I hope this is clear to everyone, and in tomorrow's session also please be present on the same channel at the same time, that is 6 p.m. Please be present sharp at 6 p.m. because we start the lecture exactly on time. Okay, so I hope today's session is clear to everyone. Plus don't forget to enroll in the course, because in the course I am teaching each and every topic in detail, and I am also covering a lot of more stuff which I cannot complete because of the time constraint. Okay, so enroll in the course and join the course as soon as possible. so that you will not be late for your studies. Okay, and if not, then at least follow these lectures, because this is also here also I'm trying to cover maximum of your portion, and I'm trying to teach you maximum number of studies which is related to your UGC-NET English. Okay, and don't forget to tell your friends, don't forget to subscribe the channel, don't forget to share this video with your friends, and ask them to join the session as well. Okay, because as you all studying for UGC-NET, also they should get the benefit of it, right? So let's meet in tomorrow's session on the same channel at 6 p.m. Okay, so till the time we meet next, happy learning, and thank you so much for your patient listening. Thank you so much for your active participation.